senators whispered in the halls of power. In Nero's Rome, survival meant silence. A careless phrase could mean exile or death. But one man kept writing, each letter a risk, each truth a weapon. He didn't know it then, but he was writing one of the most enduring works of philosophy ever written. These are the letters from a Stoic. Hello, and welcome back to the Success Bureau, where we break down the world's greatest books, from ancient wisdom to modern strategy. Today, we're going back to the source, one of the original masters of calm thinking, clear living, and unshakable self-discipline. The Roman philosopher, statesman, and advisor to emperors, Lucius Annaeus Seneca. This episode is all about Letters from a Stoic, a collection of personal letters Seneca wrote to his friend Lucilius nearly 2,000 years ago. These weren't essays or polished speeches, they were honest, reflective letters filled with insight, advice, and sharp observations about how to live well in a world that doesn't always make sense. Seneca was many things: philosopher, playwright, political operator. But he wasn't just writing for the sake of it, he was writing to survive. He lived under the rule of Nero, a volatile and dangerous emperor, and his position at court meant his life was never truly secure. So, when he talks about courage, restraint, or accepting death, he means it. These letters are direct, no nonsense, and absolutely packed with wisdom. And the remarkable thing is that they're just as useful now as they were then, possibly more so. In a world where most people are pulled in 100 directions, reacting to everything and mastering nothing, Seneca shows you how to stay grounded, steady, and in control. Seneca was born in the early years of the Roman Empire, around the same time as Jesus. He grew up in Spain and was educated in Rome under some of the finest tutors of his day. His father was wealthy and wanted Seneca to pursue a career in public life, which he did. First as a lawyer and later as a senator. He was ambitious and talented, but illness disrupted his rise. He was sent to Egypt to recover and spent nearly a decade away from Rome. By the time he returned, he had learned that life rarely goes to plan. Fortune moves quickly. It can raise you up and flatten you just as fast. He climbed back into political life only to be exiled again, this time by Emperor Claudius. He was sent to Corsica, a remote island where he lived in isolation for 8 years. During that time, he began writing seriously. His reflections became sharper, more grounded, and focused on practical philosophy. Eventually, he was brought back to Rome to serve as tutor to the young emperor-in-waiting, Nero. In the early years of Nero's rule, Seneca's influence helped steady the empire, but Nero's descent into violence and instability created a dilemma. Seneca withdrew from public life and spent the final years of his life writing. These letters to his friend Lucilius are what remain. They cover the key themes of Stoic life: anger, wealth, friendship, grief, fear, ambition, and time. Each one is short and direct. Seneca writes plainly. He isn't trying to impress, he's trying to get to the truth. He had lived with both luxury and disgrace. He knew the pressure of public office. He knew the pain of exile and the fear of death. His writing reflects a man who had been tested, and towards the end, when Nero ordered him to die, Seneca followed through with the calm discipline he'd written about for decades. He believed the role of philosophy was to prepare us, to help us carry ourselves well through whatever life brings. He said, "The duty of a man is to be useful to his fellow men, if possible to many, failing this to a few, failing this to his neighbours, and failing this to himself." That kind of thinking runs through everything he wrote. He spent his last years refining it. His focus was always on usefulness, on clarity, and the actions that matter. Seneca drew from many traditions. The philosopher he quoted most often wasn't even a fellow Stoic. It was Epicurus, founder of a rival school. He made no apology for this. He said he was like a spy in the enemy's camp, taking what was useful and discarding the rest. He didn't care about the label, he cared about the value. If a line helped sharpen the mind or steady the soul, it was worth remembering. That kind of thinking gave his work range. And it reminds me why banning books is always a bad idea. We should be able to spy in the enemy's camp. So, let's unpack the most practical and enduring lessons from Letters from a Stoic, and show how to apply them in real life, whether you're navigating stress, pressure, ambition, or setbacks. Let's get into it. Time is the most valuable thing. Seneca reminds us that the most valuable thing we possess is our time. He puts it plainly, most people guard their money more carefully than their hours. But money can be earned again, time cannot. He writes, "People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy." His warning is clear. Time is life. Once it's gone, it's gone. The hours we give to distractions, gossip, meaningless obligations, those are the hours we never get back. He urges Lucilius and us to treat time as the greatest investment. Life isn't something to prepare for, it's something we're spending every day. The way forward is to create space for what matters. Put first things first. Block time for deep work. Protect your mornings. Say no more often, because you understand the cost of saying yes to everything. Seneca is giving a strategy for living with intention. If you don't choose how to spend your time, someone else will. Cultivate inner calm. Seneca values inner calm. The world is chaotic, but clarity and steadiness are always available. Seneca himself faced exile, political pressure, and public scrutiny. His advice stays composed and deliberate. He writes, "A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not." His focus is on steadiness. Most suffering begins in our own minds, our expectations, our fears, our imagined disasters. And when we let those thoughts spiral, we drain our energy and lose our perspective. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. That line could have been written this morning. It applies to inbox anxiety, awkward conversations, and future outcomes that haven't even happened. Seneca knew that our worst enemy is often our own thinking. Calm, focused minds make better choices. That's the foundation of Stoic resilience. This kind of calm doesn't come naturally. It's a habit, and habits are built one decision at a time. The more you practice pausing before reacting, the more you grow that inner reserve. Friendship is one of Seneca's strongest themes. The people around us shape our character and mindset. He encourages Lucilius to choose his friends with care and to be a positive force in return. Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving. This is the Stoic approach to relationships. Few but deep, loyal, not scattered, selective, not closed off. And when you do build those bonds, invest fully. Seneca's line, "No good thing is pleasant to possess without friends to share it," reminded me of a few years ago when I bought my dream house. It's got a big garden, beautiful kitchen, open plan living room. I even built a bar with a pool table outside, designed for people, for laughter, for shared memories. But almost as soon as I moved in, most of my close friends moved away. They still visit now and again, but it's not the same. Back when I had my small house, we lived near each other. We'd drop in unannounced, hang out, cook, go out together. That simplicity, those moments, were priceless. Now, I walk through a house that's everything I ever wanted, but without friends to share it with, it's quieter than it should be. It's not worse, it just feels incomplete, and that's exactly what Seneca meant. He reminded us that life's finest things, wisdom, joy, even success, mean very little in isolation. Without someone to share the moment with, even abundance can feel hollow. Train the mind through discipline. Seneca sees the mind as something that must be trained. Wisdom isn't something you stumble into, it's something you practice. Just like strength in the body, clarity and courage in the mind come from consistent effort. He advises Lucilius to rehearse adversity. Sleep on the floor, eat plain meals, wear simple clothes. This isn't about punishment, it's about removing fear. When you've experienced discomfort and survived it, you don't dread it anymore. Set aside now and then a few days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, and ask yourself, is this the condition that I feared? That's the Stoic exercise of voluntary discomfort. By choosing small challenges, you develop mental flexibility. You also discover how little you actually need to be okay. And when you're okay with less, you're not as easily manipulated. You're not as reactive. You don't chase status for its own sake. You stop being afraid of losing what's unnecessary. Seneca's vision of self-discipline is powerful, but it's practical. You train like an athlete, not to show off, but to be ready for life's unexpected turns. Live with direction. Seneca defines the good life as one lived in alignment with reason and principle. That means knowing what matters and shaping your decisions around it. It means developing a strong sense of purpose and acting from that place. If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favourable. That quote stays with you. You need direction. You need clarity. Without it, any distraction becomes a detour. With it, you move through the world deliberately. Seneca encourages a life of integrity, where your actions match your values, where your thinking is consistent, and where you take full responsibility for your choices. He believed philosophy wasn't just for writing or reading, it was for living. It was a method for reducing fear, increasing focus, and becoming immune to chaos. That's what makes his letters so powerful. They're not written from a peaceful retreat. They're written from within the pressures of Roman politics, personal attacks, and real-world tension. His strength came from structure. He reviewed his days. He corrected his thinking. He returned to core ideas again and again, because repetition builds resilience. He saw success as an inner achievement, not a reputation, not wealth, not applause. A calm, ordered soul that does what's needed without drama. Seneca makes a powerful distinction between remembering and knowing. He criticizes those who simply repeat what others have said, saying they've trained their memory but haven't taken ownership of the ideas. He writes, "Let there be a difference between yourself and your book. How long shall you be a learner? From now on, be a teacher as well." Reading that reminded me of a scene from Good Will Hunting. There's a moment where Robin Williams' character challenges Will not for his intelligence, but for his lack of lived experience. He talked about how Will might have studied the works of Michelangelo, but he couldn't tell you what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. Earlier in the film, Will himself criticizes a student for quoting others without understanding. Together, those two moments expose something deeper, and Seneca gets to the same point. Knowledge without experience or without independent thought isn't wisdom. It's just memory work. For me, this revealed a clear framework. 3 stages of mastery. Stage 1 is study. Stage 2 is critical thought. Stage 3 is action. You can begin with study or with hands-on experience, but you can't skip stage 2. That's where ideas become your own. That's where insight happens. I've seen this clearly in my own work when I started out as a sound engineer. Most people complete stage 1. Maybe they've studied audio tech, passed the exams, and know the gear, but they go straight into operating equipment without reflection. They become technicians, not engineers. They can run a session, but they can't shape the sound. True engineers think differently. They don't just operate systems, they invent, solve, and adapt. That creative control comes from that middle stage, the critical thinking, applied knowledge. It's the same with mechanics. You can learn how an engine works and become a good mechanic. But the leap to becoming an engineer, someone who creates, optimizes, innovates, comes when thought is applied to knowledge or experience. Elon Musk is a perfect example. He didn't just learn how to build cars. He rethought what a car could be. Seneca's challenge is the same. Don't just collect knowledge, digest it, test it, use it. His letters aren't lectures, they're tools for transformation. And transformation only happens when thinking becomes doing. Here are my 5 favourite quotes from Letters from a Stoic. The evils of leisure can be shaken off by hard work. Seneca doesn't see work as punishment, he sees it as antidote. Leisure might sound luxurious, but too much of it dulls the mind. When you lose structure, you lose energy. Even light effort, a walk, a task, a goal, can reboot your whole mindset. There is nothing that will not surrender to persistent treatment, to concentrated and careful attention. Seneca compares the soul to bent wood. It can be straightened with heat and care. It's never too late to rebuild who you are, as long as you're willing to be deliberate and patient. That applies to habits, mindset, and even identity. Our stupidity may be clearly proved by the fact that we regard as free gifts the things for which we spend our very selves. This is a gut punch. We protect our money more than our energy, our peace, even our health. Seneca reminds us that some of the most expensive things in life don't come with a price tag. They come with your time and soul. A task once begun is half done. The dread before starting something is usually worse than the thing itself. Seneca simplifies the entire productivity philosophy into one line. Just start. That momentum, even if it's small, is everything. It takes trickery to win popular approval. They will withhold their approval if they do not recognize you as one of themselves. This is a reminder to choose your audience. Don't contort yourself to win over the wrong crowd. In modern terms, niche down. Find the people who get it and speak directly to them. You don't need everyone, you just need the right ones. Letters from a Stoic offers a philosophy built on self-mastery, not escape. It's a guide for showing up with clarity and purpose. It's about managing time well, training the mind, choosing strong friendships, and living with direction. Some of the language might feel old, depending on which translation you get. I recommend the Capstan Press publication. It's cheap, readily available, and it's really easy to read. No matter which translation you get, the ideas still feel current. Many of the challenges Seneca faced still exist today. That's why this book continues to resonate. Read one letter at a time. Let the ideas settle. It's not a book to rush, it's one to live with. If this breakdown helped clarify the value of Seneca's writing and you want to explore more ideas from the world's greatest books, please consider subscribing. And while you're here, tap that like button for me. And I'll see you guys next time.